This week, the rich get richer in the NFL. James Harden finds himself in Los Angeles with Rip's LA Clippers. We run point with five-time NBA champ and current head coach at Crespi High School in Encino, California, NBA all-timer Derek Fisher.
DK, as always, this episode of One Star Recruits is brought to you by 500 Level. It's 500level.com for all the hottest t-shirts in sports. Laker fans, check it out. They got that big head unibrow Anthony Davis shirt, the screaming face Rui Hachimura shirt, all the Austin Reeves shirt you ever want. 500level.com. Check it out. 20% off everything on the site with the code ONESTAR at checkout. Let's go.
Hey, everybody. This is Derek Fisher, five-time NBA champion and current Crespi High School basketball coach. And I am on with the One Star Recruits. Let's get it.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. I'm DK. My best friend Rip. We're one stars. We bring 5 stars on this pod and we hang out. We do a little talking in between. We learn a little bit. It's always a great time. We're going to do Rip's reactions. We've been mixing it around a little bit. Sometimes we'll do Rip's reactions in the beginning, sometimes at the end. Who knows? We're going to keep them going in the beginning. I want new listeners, Lakers listeners, to learn a little bit about you, bro. Let's do an energy check right now, Rip. Where are you at? Give me an energy level check.
Let's go, man. I'm a little under the weather. Been for 2 months and counting now, but I got some energy, man. It's Halloween. We're recording this 2 hours before trick-or-treating, so energy's high, man.
2 months. All right, we'll table that. That seems problematic. 2 months, but we got you here on the pod. Another week. Let's get into it, dude. Just keep the music rolling. Megan Fox is slammed for violating a SAG order at a Casa Amigos Halloween party after she dressed up as a Kill Bill character. So this actor's strike is really kind of crazy. It's in this minutia that I couldn't believe. But Megan Fox is getting slammed right now, Rip. You're best. You're a SAG. You were a SAG member. You might still be getting SAG equities, SAG checks. I'm not 100%. What's your best and your worst Halloween costume?
Just asterisk that never a SAG member, non-union for life, baby. But I do support workers trying to get every penny they can. Best and worst Halloween costume. Let's go. Best was a homemade piñata costume back in about 2010, I'd say. But also best because I spent the most time making it. Took a ton of tissue paper, black and orange tissue paper, divided it into like 1-inch pieces and made a piñata out of basically paper mache that went around my body. Looked like a pumpkin and got several beatings that night with sticks. So I got what I asked for. Worst, I'm gonna just say like the worst is the most unoriginal, man. Like actually tonight I'm going as a skeleton. It's so easy. It's just a $20 costume that I'm pulling out of my closet.
No, you've hit that point.
Yeah, no originality this year. No originality, man. So those are always
all
the worst.
Parents get to it. It's usually about this age, 6 to 9, 6 to 10, where parents are just like, oh, mom's being the witch again. And she goes and gets it out of the garage and puts on the witch thing. Dad does a skeleton shirt. What is it, a shirt?
No, it's an actual costume, but it's like right off the rack, $20 out of the package, put it on. It takes literally probably 30 seconds to get ready.
You love Halloween too. That's surprising, but 2 months of being sick, we got Rip. We got a 50% Rip going on. Not a piñata. Actually, it sounds like a good way to get yourself hit in the nuts, to be honest. Risky.
Yeah, it was very risky, and I'll never do that one again. I'll tell you that much.
The Rangers, unfortunately, take a 2-1 lead in the World Series against our Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll do more on the back half of this pod about the Diamondbacks in the World Series. But Rip, as a manager of a high-level Little League squad in the mecca of Little League, Long Beach, California, are you ready for robots to replace umps immediately?
I'm ready, man. My 7-year-old was complaining about how bad the umpire was in his fall ball game the other day. So that's when you know he's either watching too much TV, listening to too many fans, or the umps are just that bad. DK. I try to tell him everybody's human. We're all gonna make mistakes. You strike out, don't blame it on the umps. It's all on you. But yeah, man, let's go with the robo umps. I'm ready. I think it's about time in MLB for sure.
It'll be a 30 for 30 eventually, like the taxi cab. You know, the taxi cab was such a necessary thing until all cars became potential taxi cabs. We've hit that point in baseball. Like, just switch it over. We can self-drive a Tesla across the country. We can we can all watch the TV and they show us. That was what was so nuts about the Diamondbacks game and those missed calls, especially in the 9th inning. You can see the ball missing by 3 inches, bro. Like, who's tripping out?
As long as we can still get the arguments, man, on the out and safe calls, because there's no robots that are going to be able to handle those. So I do like an argument every once in a while.
It's gonna be a different type of argument. It might be they might sit down and play a video game against the robot to see who wins the argument. It's gonna change shit. It's gonna change shit. But that's frustrating as a baseball fan to see those misses when we can see it's clearly a miss. We used to not have the box and the technology, but it clearly is there. Let's use it. How about Omaha Productions, Rip? They announced another innovative partnership. They're launching like an AR experience, like augmented reality, watch Monday Night Football deal, whatever. Dude, would the One Star Recruits be a good podcast for the Omaha Productions team?
Absolutely, man. We're one stars, just like Peyton and Eli are at acting. I mean, they've come a long way, and I think so have we. But hey, we're at the heart of it. We're a sports podcast that help people get better in different aspects of life. As you'll hear from this D-Fish interview, we talk a lot about family, and yeah, DK, I think we fit right in with those guys.
The wholesome side, they have a nice cast right now. It's ESPN in Omaha. Obviously, the Peyton brothers own it. They do the Monday Night Football show and some other. But Mina Kimes has a show where she talks NFL. They got a Cam Hayward. These will all be kind of good guests for our show too, Rip. Doing football. They got Bob Myers, former GM of the Golden State Warriors, doing a Lead by Example podcast. Lots of good ones, but I see a hole that lots of betting stuff going on, some comedian stuff going on, not a life lesson pod, not even a life lesson, a mix. We got to work on our elevator pitch a little bit. I think it'd be a good mash though. Omaha Productions.
OneStarRecruits@gmail.com. Hit us up.
Broncos beat the Chiefs for the first time in 8 years. What's something you haven't done in 8 years that you would love to do?
You know what it is, DK? I'm gonna say travel out of the country. I went to Mexico a few months ago. That doesn't really count too much because that's like 2 hours away from me. But I'm ready. I'm ready to get back traveling, and we actually just booked a flight to Paris for next year. So yeah, it's been a little over 8 years.
Holy cow, we're back to this Paris trip. I've been hearing about this Paris trip for 17 years, Rip.
Hey, tickets are purchased, man. It's happening May 2024. No podcast that week.
Monsieur, we should pod from Paris.
It might happen, man. I mean, you might get me live from the Eiffel Tower or the Louvre or something like that, eating a croissant.
Get that Victor Wembanyama, Jay, for when you get out there. You're too old to wear jerseys anyway.
I was thinking about that. Does every other person in France at this point have a Wembanyama jersey, or is he not that popular yet? I'll let you know in May next year.
Let me know. You might see more Tony Parkers, possibly. The throwbacks are super popular.
Boris Diaw.
The Joker thinks that Chet Holmgren needs to get fatter. He said that in a quote, which risky nowadays. That could be a too woke statement. Who knows? But he said it in just, and Chet Holmgren super skinny, having a great beginning of the season. What's your biggest weight, Rip, and what's your current weight right now? Are you happy with your weight?
Yeah, I'm happy with my weight. I'm sitting at about 168, 170 right now. I think the most I've ever actually weighed is probably like 179. So I always stay within like a 10-pound range, man. It's just genetics, I guess. Maybe I'll put on a few as I get older here, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the current weight. I'd probably like to be in a little better shape because, like I said, I've been sick for 2 months, been hard to work out. But current weight, yeah, 5-star, man.
5-star. That's a good weight for you. Yeah, you keep that cholesterol right. All that. I started getting tested for all my stuff now. So you're like, damn, I gotta. What's it like? The L cholesterol and some other cholesterols. Yeah, bro, we're at that age. I went from 200, about 200, 198. I don't think I ever hit the 200 barrier, maybe for like 1 or 2 days. And then I've gotten down in your range between the 175 and 180. Seems like a nice place for me to be comfortable. But I want to get in better shape too. I'm doing a little bit of a fitness challenge this week. I'm trying to do 3 runs this week, 2 gym visits. So I got to do the gym after this podcast, and I'm already thinking of ways to get out of it. So keep me accountable.
All our Instagram and Twitter followers saw you with that weight vest on, giving your takes on the World Series the other day on social media. Check it out at One Star Recruits. DK in his weight vest running out there in Hawaii. So yeah, props, man. I wish I could be doing that right now.
That was day one, man. That was day one. Cool. Good takes, Rip. Good jobs, man. I mean, it's been a crazy week. We are in the World Series. We're recording on a day that the World Series is being played, so we're not gonna get into that too much. But this Halloween. You know what happened this Halloween, bro? In the wee mornings of the hours, 9 p.m. for me here in Hawaii, probably midnight for you, maybe 1 o'clock. We got a huge Woj bomb, which everybody loves. Who doesn't love one of those? James Harden, James the Demander Harden got another demand granted. He's coming back home. He's coming back with you, Rip, to play in LA. Dude, Woj stayed up all night at the Newark airport to keep this news fresh. How excited are you? Or how chaotic is this going to be?
I'm actually, I mean, as a Suns fan, as you know, I'm actually a little bit worried, man. If this thing works out between the new big three at the Clippers, Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi, it could be a threat to the Suns getting to the Western Finals. I mean, all these guys have injury issues, mental issues to some extent, and now they have the Clippers trade away basically their entire bench, so they have zero depth. But the biggest worry for me is with the Suns. But hey, Steve Ballmer is looking to make a splash. They open up the Intuit Dome. We're probably the best arena in the NBA next year, a year from now. So if they keep those big three together for that, that's definitely a splash.
I go back and forth. I think they got better in this. You're right. You lose Batum, but Batum's not winning anybody any championship games. I hear he's a really good locker room guy. I get a little bit concerned, especially the Spurs, Wemby. We were just talking about France. Paris was just playing the Clippers a couple of days ago. I watched the game. I'm watching all the Wemby games on the how good is the YouTube production, by the way, and ability to go back and forth, Rip? Do you love it?
Oh, it's so amazing. I love, yeah, the fast forward, the rewind every 15 seconds. I got it down now. It took me about a week, but I got it down.
And basketball is so great for it. Anyway, I was watching Clippers Spurs game. Clippers blew them out. You know, Wemby was frustrated, which is nice to see a young guy actually get pissed off when you lose. But the Clippers looked really good, and Russell Westbrook seems to have this good mojo leadership, and he's rebounding, he's doing his things. Here's my concern: you're going to mix James Harden back into this mix, and the ball's going to stop a little bit. It's going to become maybe a little bit more of a LeBron James situation that Westbrook was doing with the Lakers, when he's put in a lot of work this offseason, I think, on growth and development. They came here to Hawaii to play a game against the Nuggets, and he took all his guys out. He's really kind of this leader of the team. Now we're bringing in this energy in James Harden that might fuck with it. I mean, they're blowing out. You should blow out the Spurs at this point in time. But they're very competitive. And you're right, for Suns fans, for Lakers fans, Sacramento Kings, they just lost their point guard for a little bit, unfortunately. It's an opportunity for Steve Ballmer to go too hard. Maybe he's balling a little bit too hard. And Steve Ballmer got this deal done, by the way, which is how these deals usually get done. These not so general manager things where you're dealing with these personalities. And I think Josh Harris and Steve Ballmer got together and got it done. So Steve's getting what he wants. He's got 227 toilets. 5 All-Stars, a slim bench. You still have Terrence Mann. You know, Lawrence Frank's doing his thing. They got better. Let's see if we can coach these guys. We'll see.
Yeah, it's always a risk with that many superstars about who gets the ball the most, and everyone wants the ball. But, you know, how long is it going to take them to mesh, man? Like you said, Westbrook, Harden.
James Harden's going to slow shit down, Rip. He's going to slow down the flow.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure it out, and it took the Suns a while, and we haven't even had a game with Beal yet. It took the Lakers a while when they got AD. So, but hey, when you have 3 guys that can create their own shot, that's the key in this league, as we know. So we'll see how it works, man. I know Lakers fans aren't happy about it though.
Yeah, I don't think Lakers fans like it, but I think they're thinking the same thing. It's like adding a cancer inside of that locker room, and it will self-destruct eventually. You know, Lakers fans love Derek Fisher. D. Fish, an all NBA all-time jersey guy. I was checking this out. He's got some good ones, man. If I saw that Utah Derek Fisher jersey at the airport, it would get a hit turn from me. You know,
OKC Derek Fisher.
Yeah, OKC. Obviously, he did his time with Los Angeles, won some rings. Golden State Warriors. I missed that Golden State Warriors run. I started a year after him. Funny story though, the first person that they ever gave me. So when a player leaves abruptly in basketball and there's collateral, in this case, they had Derek Fisher sign about 700 autographed prints. When he left the team, I started, and that week later, they plopped about 400 of those on my cubicle desk. And I was trading those things all around downtown Oakland, Rip. I was trading those things for pork buns, teriyaki chicken bowls. I think all my homies got a handful of them. You probably still have a handful of them.
You should have kept one, man, and showed it to him during the interview. He probably would have remembered that.
They were good, man. Got out to all the community in the Bay Area, man. A good teammate, a great community member, and now an unbelievable head coach. Enjoy this interview with Derek Fisher.
Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a husband, a father, a native of Little Rock, Arkansas, a 5-time NBA champion with the Los Angeles Lakers, and the current head coach of basketball at Crespi High School in Encino, California. Still looking good and in shape at age 49. Derek Fisher is on with the One Star Recruits. Thanks for hopping on with the One Stars, Coach.
I appreciate you having me, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, I know you were a workout guru in your playing days, but yeah, like me and DK, man, we're all getting a little bit older. For us, us one-star dads out there in our 40s and some going into the 50s here, what's the morning routine look like these days to stay in shape? Are you still a 5 a.m. wake up guy?
I mean, the wake up time kind of depends on what's on the calendar that day, but yeah, I mean, basically don't eat. That's pretty much the secret. Yeah, I mean, it's like a morning cup of coffee, maybe some yogurt with some trail mix, just try to keep it light. But then, I mean, also life is life. So, if it's time to eat, it's time to eat. I mean, the holidays are coming. It's important to still experience like great food with great people. But I definitely try to mix in just some of those lighter days for sure.
I love you on that fasting, that morning fasting. Me too. I haven't been eating until about 3 in the afternoon when my body wants to be hungry, and I've been losing some weight too. I like that. Yeah. That's great advice.
For sure.
Coach Fisher, you've been at the pinnacle, man, winning titles with the Lakers, coaching the Big Apple. You're now on a high school campus with about 500 students. We know your son and stepsons are on the team, which is amazing. What was that decision like? I'm sure you have a ton of great options and opportunities on the table. Why the head coaching job at Crespi?
Yeah, I think it's kind of just a combination of factors. One, just my pure love and passion for the game of basketball, whether it's NBA, WNBA, high school, Nike, EYBL, whatever the quote unquote circuit is or industry, like my love for the game always just kind of brings me back to that pure place. I think also the combination of timing with, our 3 boys in our house, like being in those high school years and what we've seen over the last few years with one that is a senior boy in high school and then 2 that are freshman boys entering high school. We've kind of been in this like 5 to 6 year window of seeing what middle school and grassroots basketball looks like. On the boys and girls side, to be honest, and, had some thoughts, opinions, feelings, and it's just reached a point over the last 9 to 10 months where I felt like if the right opportunity presented itself to get involved on the front lines of it, I would love to do it. And the blessing on top of it is like our 3 boys, having a chance to play high school basketball together for 1 year, and then for the younger ones for us to continue to try and help build a great program for the next few years.
It's like a dream come true, Coach Fisher. It's amazing. We just had Damian Wilkins on, who's overtime elite GM, and he has his son in the program. It's cool, man, to see these guys go back to the roots of basketball and help make some changes that in the future are going to be huge changes for these players, especially these great programs, man. I got to talk about our guy, big Clippers fan, by the way, Marcellus Wiley. He's showing support on social media for the program. We know Matt Barnes will be at the games. People have already been backing the program big time. It kind of feels like you got a little Coach Prime going on in the San Fernando Valley, the Coach Prime of San Fernando Valley going on. What are some LA friends? What are some LA celebs of Coach Fisher's in your Rolodex that we can see at Crespi's gym? Or maybe you want to throw the invite out. We're going to see Big Shaq. Maybe Phil Jackson comes down from Montana.
Yeah, no, I think the invites are definitely going to go out. I think what's one thing that, we should take advantage of is the ability to invite, especially great sports people, great basketball people, great leaders, people that have impacted their space, their industry, their communities, their businesses. Like, surround these kids with those opportunities to rub shoulders with those people, ask questions, learn, take a picture. Whatever that experience might be, but also not create a celebrity program either, right? Like really build a sports program that is based in fundamentals, hard work, consistency, selflessness, being committed to something bigger than yourself. Like, all of those things are the foundation of it. But, like yesterday, I recorded a interview for a Pau Gasol documentary. You better believe the next time Pau Gasol's in LA and he has time to come by Crespi and talk to our young boys, like that invitation, that request is going to go out. And not because of the celebrity aspect of it, but because he's one of the greatest basketball players and people to ever touch the planet. There's something that he can say to our players that can't even come from me, as much as experience as I have. It's only going to come great from Pau. So I want to do that, whether it's Pau, Shaq, even Vanessa and the girls, what they mean to basketball still today, even without Kobe's physical presence, whether they physically can show up to Crespi or they can tweet about us or say something positive about what we're doing. That's for sure the hope.
Something's brewing, Coach. You got it brewing there. It's the YouTube generation, Gen Z. It's a different generation of how they take in content. Just for the ballers out there, maybe even your own players. Can you give me like 2 or 3 all-time YouTube watches? Maybe that you tell your current players on a road trip, hey, bro, take a look at this guy. Who would be 2 to 3 players that you would throw out there for your players to check out?
One of the most recent ones, like a real life example, is how much Tom Brady's been really out there talking and speaking to what his mindset has been and was in certain situations that he was in. And one of the things that he's described a lot, which I'd read about several years ago, was his experience at the University of Michigan. And, he's battling for reps in practice and he's struggling. He wanted to transfer. And when you think about where we are now in the generation of the transfer portal and how quickly we want to move on to the next situation, grass is greener. Tom Brady just comes to mind as a guy who I literally clipped it and sent it to our players in our group chat so that they could hear from somebody that we now regard as the greatest of all time in his sport, where he was in college, not in high school, in college. He was stuck on the 3rd string quarterback position on the practice squad, getting 2 reps in practice. And so every time we face something hard, like we want to try to escape it and get out of it. And a lot of times we just have to stick with it and work through it. So Tom comes to mind. I mean, there's so many of the guys that I've kept up with over the years, and I don't know in terms of their YouTube following, but John Gordon always has amazing things to share and discuss and talk about. And then, I think we oftentimes lose sight of like powerful female voices within the landscape of just leadership and strength and power. And so the way the WNBA season just finished and ended, I lean a lot on, great leaders from there. I mean, Becky Hammon, honestly, has really strong and powerful things to say and communicate when you catch the microphone in the huddle during W games, or the things that she talks about with her team, like being a pro, right? It's being prepared, the process, being proactive, just a lot of great things that she shares. So I take as much information from everywhere, man, and try to use it to help whoever I'm supposed to be serving.
And we're really lucky to have you coaching the youth, Derek. I mean, it's amazing to hear not only the foundations that you're driving at the school, but also I love it that you mixed it up and it was an amazing WNBA championship. Thank you. Those were great. We're going to clip some of those up, my man. That was so good.
Appreciate you, fellas.
We end every interview with a segment we call 1 star to 5 star. We mentioned we're 1 stars. Everybody knows it, but we're trying to get better with advice and tips from every guest we have on this podcast, like yourself. So just a couple ones that run the gamut on a 1 to 5 star scale, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. I want to try to help listeners out who might be going through things that you've already been through. And the question has to do with blended families, because you and your wife, Gloria, have been married for a couple of years, and you both came into the marriage with children already.
Yeah.
All you have to do, as we mentioned, is look at Crespi's roster to find your 3 sons on there. And from what we see on social media, you guys truly make it look easy, but we know it's not always seamless, right? So
yeah.
What is your 5-star advice for people out there who are maybe in that position you were in 5 years ago on making things work with a blended family?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, man. I really wish that, in addition to talking sports, which is so powerful, especially as men, that we really got into these type of conversations more often. So to me, this is a 5-star question, and I'll definitely try to give it a 5-star answer. I think the most straightforward way is to just say, when people say keep the main thing, that's what you do. And I think in a blended family situation, the children are the main thing. And if you keep the main thing, I believe it helps you to navigate the inevitable hurdles and adverse situations that do come up. Divorce is hard. The breakdown of a family is hard. And so when you're trying to put yourself back together individually, and then you're trying to blend that with another person who's putting themselves back together individually, and then you're trying to blend that all together. And sometimes the children just get lost in all of that blending and pain and looking and searching and finding new energy and positivity. So I've just always tried to keep our children at the top of any decision that I need to make when something's really hard, right? If something's negative that's being said or written in the media, or if an ex-spouse, implies or says something that creates a reaction in you, if the reaction is not going to make the kids' lives better or improve their lives, or the reaction is going to damage their lives or put them in a position where they may look at their dad or their mom in a negative or different light, we want no parts of it. Like that's not our responsibility. Even if sometimes an ex-spouse does something or we do something as ex-spouses that create pain or problem, the reaction can't trump what the kids deserve. And that's the thing that I've always tried to hold on to, especially with us living public lives. It's real easy to just hop on social media and just respond to stuff. And we just always try to keep the love for the kids first. And we feel like that's given us a better chance to make it work.
Hey, it's a 5-star answer, man. As products, both of us, products of divorced parents. I know it's always a work in progress, but I appreciate you answering that. I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
I want to close it out with one for the Lakers fans. We mentioned you played for 5 NBA organizations, actually coached with the Knicks also, but nothing I'm sure can compare to the 13 seasons you spent with the purple and gold.
Mm-hmm.
It went from the top down, Dr. Buss, to all your incredible teammates and coaches. It's really just a super unique organization that's just laser focused on championships. How do you summarize how, especially once you've had some success and being part of that Laker family, it's something for life? How do you just summarize what it's like to be part of that Laker family and mystique?
Yeah, no, I think just like being a part of any family, right? There's, like we just got to talking about, there's ups and downs and highs and lows. And when there's great deal of expectation, that comes with more scrutiny, more spotlight. Your successes are celebrated at a higher level. Your failures are exploited and laughed at and denigrated at a certain level. But it's all a part of being a member of this amazing, esteemed family. And so it almost feels like royalty, which again comes with pros and cons. It's not always good. If you're not new, if you're not something that brings immediate positive light or positive return to the royal family, well, you're just not as much of a priority, but you're still part of the royalty, right? You're still related to the family. And so I think being a part of that Lakers family, it's a part of, in the 80s, when Magic and Kareem and James Worthy and Norm Nixon and B. Scott and all the guys, like when they were the guys, and other guys weren't the guys, right? The guys from the 60s weren't the guys as much. And then you move on to our guys, our teams, we were the guys, and the guys from the 80s were still the guys, but it didn't mean as much because you got new guys that are doing it. And I think it's the same way now, right? Like, yeah, I have great Laker history and tradition, but a current player on the Lakers is going to move the needle probably a little more than, like, Austin Reeves is now a needle mover more than my name. And that's part of being in this great Lakers family, is that when you're there and you're in it and you're being successful, there's no brighter light or brighter stage to be on. And for those of us that are like former or guys from yesteryear, in a sense, like we still get that pride. We still get to wear the energy of being part of the purple and gold. But it's okay for new guys to get the love and the shine, and for us to have these great years and keep it pushing. And I think that's what makes the Lakers thing so great. Like, we're not necessarily trying to still be celebrated for something we did 15 or 20 years ago. It's like, that's not good enough. Who's winning and improving your legacy now? That's more important than what you guys did 20 years ago. And I think that's a cool part about it. Like, that laser focus, like you guys said, on winning championships, and that's all that really matters.
I love that perspective from someone who lived it for 13 years. And who would have ever thought that you'd be coaching a team called the Celts right now? It was just crazy.
Correct.
But I'm sure
but
nobody's
I'll tell you this: if it was Celtics, I would not have taken the job.
Hey, Laker for life, baby. Everyone go follow Derek. It's at Derek L. Fisher on Instagram. You can find out all about the Hoop Squad at Crespi.org. The season tips off November 13th. Derek, we wish you the best of luck this season and beyond, man. Have fun coaching your sons. It's not something that everybody gets to do, man. Thank you,
man. I appreciate it, man. You guys take care.
Special thanks again, DK, to our guy, Derek Fisher, who now, again, is the head coach at Crespi High School, the head boys basketball coach. We're looking for him to do big things this season and beyond. It's so cool that he gets to coach his sons and his stepsons, DK. Not many people.
So can the public go watch those games? So can you go watch like Crespi or like where LeBron's kids are playing? You can go get tickets and watch those games?
Absolutely. I mean, Bronny's at USC right now. His younger son, I'm not sure if he's at Sierra Canyon, but yeah, Crespi is right in Encino, close to the 101 there. Just grab a ticket to their gym. Season starts November 13th. Go check them out.
It's like summer league value. I remember when you were catching the Ball brothers and the Inland Empire years ago, and you were telling me about it long before they became household names.
And we talked about in the interview that you might catch a celeb or two there. Who knows, man? We might see Marcellus Wiley. We might see Matt Barnes. Who knows what we'll see in that gym?
Yeah, for sure, man.
But yeah, DK, Derek Fisher won 5 titles with the Lakers. Obviously, it got me to thinking of. Actually, I think this might be the most rare club in sports, DK, and it's guys who have been a part of 2 dynasties. So Derek Fisher was a part of 1 with the Lakers, obviously. Actually, he came back for 2 more, so he might have been a part of 2 of them because he was 2 separate dynasties. I don't know if they blend together, but the first guy that came to my mind was Phil Jackson. He won 6 titles with the Bulls, 5 with the Lakers. So obviously, clearly a part of 2 dynasties. And really, there's not many on that list after that. Can you actually think of any off the top of your head? And we can define this. I think a dynasty has to be 3 titles, but just off the top of your head, player, coach, can you think of any more than that?
I'm sure there's some. I'm tempted to just Google and get into it, but I want to put more thought into it. You're right. It's hard to do. It's kind of like the upper echelon of even sports. I remember working in sports. That would be a part of the game too. So start with a team, get successful, get on the next hot team. It's like a new startup.
Yeah, and we had comedian Adam Lamb brought up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for his dynasty at UCLA and then his dynasty in the NBA. So I think he's definitely one if you want to throw college in there. But then some other guys that kind of came up were Robert Horry because he won, I think, 3 with the Spurs, 4 with the Lakers. However it mixes up, he won 7 titles. So he's definitely a guy I think that's part of that. But it's not a long list, man. It's an interesting conversation, and it's not a long list. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah, if you mix college in there, I'm sure it gets longer, but it gets into definitions, what you call what. If you're doing that shit, it means you're part of some good culture. You got some good stuff going around inside of, the universe, and then yourself. If you keep putting yourself in those situations, it's like life a little bit.
Yeah, like speaking of that, I'm looking for our guy, Rossi up with the Warriors. He's won, I think, 4 titles up there. So I think he might need to figure out the next dynasty and make a move down to San Antonio or Oklahoma City. Or if you want to be a part of 2 dynasties, Rossi, you might have to make a move in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I like that. You hear that, Rossi? That's a sound advice from your boy Rip. Get in that early stock. Get on that Ausar Thompson stock in Houston. He's going to be real good, Rip. He's going to be real good, man. So the NBA has been on fire. I don't see any dynasties forming quite yet this early, especially this early in the season. But Phoenix Suns, we're going to table a little bit for a future pod. For the reasons that you said, we're going to let this thing develop a little bit more. We haven't seen the full team yet. The bench is in a situation like the Clippers, still developing, I never heard of Eubanks till this year. Who knows what's going to happen? We're moving quarterbacks out of town. Josh Dobbs, probably the real winner in some NFL trade deadline movement that happened earlier this week, which is always a good time. So Josh Dobbs hits the 777 jackpot. Probably he's goes from the worst team, one of the worst teams in the NFL, the worst team, I'll say it, Arizona Cardinals, to a starting quarterback in the Minnesota Vikings, who are 4-4, with a great opportunity to battle for a playoff spot. I think 9-8 can get him into the dance, Rip. You know what I mean?
Man, he's got all the opportunity he needs in front of him. If he's able to get them into the playoffs and perform halfway decent, I mean, Kirk Cousins' contract is up at the end of this year. The Vikings are going to be looking for a new starter. Who knows? His name might be Josh Dobbs. You never know in this league, man.
I'm pretty sure not. I don't even, Rip, I don't even think, my gut tells me, I like Dobbs too. I think he's a gamer. I think to be competitive, though, I think you're going to hear some names like Colt McCoy come back into the fold. He's waiting for the good opportunity, Rip. He's better than Dobbs. Unless there's something I don't know about Colt McCoy, or if, I don't know. He was so good last year, and he's a better leader. Just been doing this for a long time. Jacoby Brissett's still out there as well. I heard wonderful rumors about our guy Jameis Winston getting a starting quarterback job, but none of that happened. So we're going to, right now, as it sits, we got Dobbs in Minnesota. Arizona Cardinals, I mean, you excited for Kyler, Rip, at all? All I get is hate in my chat. I'm kind of trying to back away from it at this point in time because I want to support young athletes in my hometown. And I'm excited to see what Kyler Murray has. I'd rather see what he has coming back instead of immediately write him off again.
I've seen it, DK. I've been watching it for 3 years. I don't know why anyone would expect him to be the same or better coming back after an ACL injury. I mean, we've seen this story for the last 3 years. So I'm ready to move on. All I want to see is the Cardinals go 1-16 or 2-15 and lock up that number 1 draft pick for next year. So I don't care who's at quarterback at this point, as long as that happens.
You're focused on it. All right. Well, that's the most surprising deal. The Cardinals kind of making these. It's not weird. It didn't shock me. I think maybe for Minnesota, surprising to go trade for a guy rather than get one of the guy in the free agent markets. No running backs were traded. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, both were on the trade blocks for weeks. Neither were moved. The Commanders of Washington do some selling. This is where I said the rich get richer. Chase Young. How much money do the 49ers have? They just paid Bosa, Rip. Bring over Chase Young. I think actually I need to do some more research. I think the way that Mr. John Lynch, friend of correspondent Nick B. John Lynch, worked an amazing deal where I think they're only going to owe him like $500,000 when this is all said and done or something, if they don't resign and some other things. But aggressive, the Eagles, you're seeing it with Howie. The Niners, these teams that are good, these GMs stay aggressive. They never really give in. It's impressive. Take note, Cardinals.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the flexibility you have when your quarterback makes $800,000 a year, like Brock Purdy, I think he's the lowest paid quarterback in the NFL. I think Josh Dobbs is making more than.
Very good point.
Versus the $40 million that Aaron Rodgers is getting paid. I mean, that's a lot of salary to pay to other positions. So, yeah, man, the Niners, they made some good moves today, and we'll see how much it helps them. They need Debo back, though. It's not the same without a healthy Debo.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. But good to see them still staying in it. So that's it. Mac Jones stays put. Who else? Any other updates from the NFL? It was a nice one, though. It was a nice little morning run of NFL trades. Sometimes they're very light. It's not like the NBA where there's a lot of nutty, crazy movements. So Cardinals, good luck. So maybe even Tune. We'll get a week of Tune, and then we'll get the Kyler Murray experience. The Diamondbacks are playing tonight in their second game at home. Rather than talk about the game itself or the umpiring or the minutia of Major League Baseball at this point in time, from what you can see, Rip, on television, how's Arizona doing? How's Phoenix doing right now in representing for a World Series team?
I mean, the Rangers it doesn't feel like the Rangers have a big fan base. I don't know any Rangers fans personally, so I didn't expect, it to be a half Rangers crowd in Phoenix, but I'm proud of AZ fans, man. They're showing up. I looked on StubHub the other day. The cheapest ticket is like $500 and they're still selling it out. So I know inflation and everyone's got a lot of money these days for some reason, but yeah, I'm happy, man. I see all D-backs fans in that stadium from what I can tell.
Yeah, same. People, I do another podcast, Trash Talk Boys, and I was talking weeks ago. I was just asking them, is things starting to heat up a little bit? We're beating some really good baseball teams in the playoffs, and I was always kind of like, nah, not really. Well, things have changed. I'm seeing stickers pictures of stickers on cars, of the flags on the cars, which is always a good sign that your team's in a championship series. And it looked like a party in there. It's a bummer they couldn't really get those bats going. I take a little bit of responsibility. Let's do our 1-star moments of the week. I'm going to take a little bit of responsibility for those bats not being able to get going, and particularly.
What'd you do, DK?
1-star moment of the week. So I'm going to start doing, like Rip said, I'm going to start doing some weekly videos for social. I've been off social media on all of them for a while. I'm going to start doing it during my workout to keep me accountable. So it'd be kind of a combo here because, I want to get down to that 175, but I want to get a little bit ripped. I've never been like ripped strong. So I'm really going to go for it. The video will help with accountability. So it's my best takes come when I'm doing exercise and I'm in the shower. So I chose exercise to keep it going. Anyway, my first video might have been the kiss of death for Christian Walker. He did not hit a big home run as I predicted. That was the prediction that I had that morning on my run. He had a base running error, a blunder that, as my guy Jay would say, it took the baseball juju out of the Diamondbacks that game. It literally did. The energy was not the same after that big error. So my 1-star moment of the week was I got the opposite of my emphatic, exciting prediction, and my guy ended up making an error. So I don't know if I'm going to talk about people in this video as much as I'm just going to give takes on maybe some more future stuff rather than day of, Rip. I don't know.
Predictions are tough, man, especially like individual predictions, because every once in a while you'll get them right and you'll look like a genius, but most of the time they're gonna be wrong, man. So yeah, maybe just speak in generalities or about
it's like sports bets and it's like blackjack tables. Yeah, you feel like you're so damn smart when you hit them, but it's like 7%, 7 to 9%.
Yeah, low chance, DK, low chance. I'm actually, for my 1-star moment of the week, I'm going to request a little bit of listener help or suggestions here because I definitely had yesterday a possum in my garage. It was probably sleeping in my garage. I found a dropping, and then my dog actually found it, and I saw it run across the garage. So definitely there was a possum in my garage. And I was Googling like heck, how do I trap this thing? How do I get it out? I live by the beach. I didn't know I had to worry about possums, DK. But so basically what we did was we left our garage door open, and we read that obviously they're nocturnal and they come out at dusk and go look for food at night. So we left our garage door open for about 4 or 5 hours. And I went back in there later at night. I was banging around with a baseball bat, trying to scare it, trying to coax it to come out. I brought my dog in there, who's kind of like a little hunter, and she couldn't find it. So I just assumed that it was gone and closed the garage. But I've been thinking all day, like, what if he's still in there and playing possum like possums do, or hiding, or maybe even had babies in there. So I need to figure out, and I need some listener suggestions. How do I actually figure out if this thing is gone from the garage or if it's still in there? Because it's been bugging me all day. And until I see a body or proof of life or something, I'm going to be worried about it, that it's in the garage. So let me know. And my garage is a little bit cluttered, so it could be hiding anywhere, DK.
Calling listeners, help this guy out. Ron Chang, he's a home inspector. He's an opossum expert. And I think you pronounced it opossum.
It is opossum. Some say the O is silent, so you can just say possum. It's not
say
playing.
It correctly, Rip. Let's hear it for the listeners. You say opossum. Let's say it correctly. It's like saying Illinois. Okay, it's Illinois and it's opossum.
Yeah, but you're not playing opossum. You're playing possum, DK. Come on, it's possum. I think
I'm playing
either
opossum.
one's acceptable.
Let's change the whole game. Like we gotta do things right. Okay, in this we gotta do things right. Rip. It's just kidding. I don't give a shit. That's a hard one for me to say. I've been in a situation when I've had to be serious about a possum conversation as well, and I chose to say possum over opossum. But dang it, I wanted to say opossum.
Well, the real 1-star moment will be if it actually had babies in there, and then I'll have a whole nother problem. But yeah, listeners, let me know if you have any ways I can figure out. I know Seymour's got to chime in on this. Let me know if you have any ways I can figure out if that thing's gone or still in there somehow.
Fun. 1-star recommendations of the week, man. Recommendations. Anything you got? What do you got, Rip? Keep it going. You're on opossum. Is your recommendation that you should say opossum instead of possum?
No, mine is actually throwing back a little bit to the family aspect of that D Fish interview, and actually like a little bit of an excuse for why I don't have a creative Halloween costume this year. It's just because, like you said, when your kids are the ages of 6 to 9, things get a lot more crazy. We're helping out at their school event today. They had a trunk or treat, so my wife and I did a whole pirate theme, and we set up our car and handed out candy along with about 20 other families. So really, it's just help out at these school events, man. Onik, Andrew, all the dads with young kids out there, all the moms out there. You only get so many chances. So I was playing hooky from work a little bit today and had to manage my time a little better because I was out there for a couple hours. But if you get a chance, help out at your kids' school events, help out wherever you can, because you won't be able to do it forever, DK. That's the 1-star. That's the 5-star rec of the week right there.
Life goes by quick. Enjoy those moments. How about just fucking daily moments? My recommendation is a daily moment. Rick, you could be the all-star parent at your next event. You probably have a fall festival coming up, or a pie around the sky contest in the school parking lot. I got a new drink for you, bro, to bring for yourself or to bring for some other parents if you want. So you're going to Starbucks. Everybody's going to Starbucks. You get your drink. It's getting colder out there. You want to switch up your coffee order and go for a tea? Okay, Rip. I got your little eyes perked up. The best of the teas. Order yourself a London Fog.
London Fog from Starbucks?
It's a Earl Grey tea, which is the goat of all teas. If you've ever drank tea like a sophisticated human, like myself, bro, you'll know that Earl Grey is just the goat. Have you even had Earl Grey inside of pastries? Is how good that Earl Grey is as a flavor. And then it's Earl Grey tea, honey, and vanilla. And it's mixed in with a little bit of like steamed milk. Life is short. Get yourself a London Fog. It's an amazing like milk tea. Switch it up at Starbucks, Rip. Enjoy your life.
How far is the closest Starbucks from you out there on Kauai?
Down in Poipusa, about 30 minutes, but I do not go to Starbucks. Actually, I will support a local place called Living Foods. If you're ever in Kauai, they make the best London Fog, hence this recommendation. We've been driving out of our way to go get it. Have a cookie and a London Fog. It's just a beautiful morning. I possibly changed your morning this morning as you're listening to this podcast. Go get yourself one.
Well, 99% of our listeners live a lot closer to Starbucks than they do to Living Foods, DK. So let us know if it's transferable, listeners. Next time you hit up Starbucks, London Fog with honey and vanilla. That's what you're saying? Is that going to make my throat feel better, DK?
It's like an Earl Tay latte. Yeah, you should do ACV though for your throat.
Apple cider vinegar. Warm it up. Take a shot. Let's go. I'll do it this week.
Yeah, do it this week. Put it on video. I'll get another video of me exercising. Today's weights. I'm gonna go do some weights, bro. Get these pectorals going. It's so fucking hard to consistently do a fitness, man. It's like I will rationalize till the cows come home.
There's always a balance. There's always a balance in your 40s of man boobs and actual pecs, DK. I know you're finding that out right now. So you got to keep it going, and you got to work twice as hard as you did in your 30s. That's for sure.
Yeah, no one likes moobs, man. 1-stars, we appreciate you. Get your exercise, get your London Fog, hug your family. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.